Hello everyone, Declan here, the editor of The Inside Job. In today's episode, Ayana interviews Nathan Jones, aka Mr. Bag and Tag, professional MMA fighter, athlete, coach, and founder of In the Bag. In this week's episode, we see life through the eyes of a professional MMA fighter, how he prepares for his bouts, and what it was like making the leap of faith to transition into having a career as a full-time martial artist. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Inside Job. Today, I have the honor of sitting with a martial arts coach, an athlete, a professional fighter, and founder of In the Bag, Mr. Nathan Jones, aka Mr. Bag and Tag. How are you doing today, Nathan?
Doing very well. Thank you for having me.
Good. Normally, I thank my guests for coming, and I say, I imagine they have a busy schedule. But word on the street is you just had a baby, so you have a super busy schedule. Is that right?
Yeah, so got a newborn. She's 4 weeks old now, so all hands on deck. But it's all good. Take it in my, take it in my stride. Taking each day as it comes, and happy.
Is that your firstborn?
Yes.
You said it is a girl. Did you say you had a girl?
Yeah, little girl. Yeah.
What's her name?
Evan.
Evan?
She's a little sweetheart. Yeah, little sweetheart.
Oh, I'm glad I liked the name, but I didn't have to pretend. I'm glad it wasn't something like apple or plum. Name. Well, congratulations again, and I hope you get some sleep, or try and get some sleep in between there. Now, your business, In the Bag, that's an interesting name. Can you tell me how you came up with that name and what your business is all about?
Yeah, so In the Bag is the name. It comes from my fight name. My fight name is Mr. Bag and Tag. So, and that's what I do when I'm in the cage. I bag and I tag. But when it comes to doing some personal training and coaching, teaching syllabuses and applying it to all different types of groups, I had to come up with something that was positive. I didn't have like violent connotations. Or, if I'm going into a school, I'm going to teach how to bag and tag. It doesn't quite have the same kind of ring to it, So I went with In the Bag. So not to say, you'd say it's the back of the net or it's a hole in one. Well, you get it in the bag. If you work hard, you reach a goal, you get it in the bag. It's got that whole kind of like positive undertone to it, So that's where the ethos comes, and it, it's all good, man.
Okay, and so what's the business about? Is it a boxing, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so I teach striking, I teach grappling, and I teach fitness as well. So whether that's the one-to-one setting, whether that's teaching classes, but martial arts runs through me, through and through. My pedigree, in which I specialize in, is MMA, as well as jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. So fingers in different pies, and we get it in the bag.
Now, you mentioned your nickname, or should I say your fighting name, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Bag and Tag. How did you get that name? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, all the great fighters out there have a fight name. They're known by their fight name. So here I am, getting into fighting. I wanted a fight name. But you're supposed to be given one. And I didn't want to wait to get given one, because when I got into fighting, I didn't know if it was for me, because I'm not really a fighter. So I was like, I'll have a fight, see how it goes. If I have a fight, I need a fight name. So I was brainstormed, and I was in a fight. I was having a fight, one of my amateur fights, and I was flagging, I was gassing out, and then my crowd started shouting, bag and tag, bag and tag. Bag and tag, and that kind of like gave me the energy to finish the fight. They gave me that uplift that I needed, that connection, because I knew they were talking to me. So after that, it was like, well, I can't be anything else but bag and tag now because I've just had 100 people shouting my name, you know. So I put a Mr. in front to show that I mean business, and you know, was
Okay.
almost 10 years later, here we are, you know. So,
Well, what got you into martial arts, and what made you decide to pursue it full time? Because I imagine you were working before this.
yeah, so I was at a rough point in my life, and you know, in relationships, finishing jobs, health problems, family breakdowns, yada yada yada. And what I needed to find something to bring me through. So basically, cut a long story short, I was going by the yes man philosophy. Where you say yes to everything, basically, and you find happiness. So basically, I had a friend that was going for a trial at the gym. He said, "Do you want to come along?" I said, "Yes." You know, did the gym, did the trial, ended up signing up. They said, "Oh, we got a competition. Do you want to do it?" Yeah, you know. Next thing I know, I'm getting into a fight, and you know, they lock the door and stuff. So yeah. But I feel like even though I used the yes man philosophy to get there, I feel like martial arts found me. You know, and I feel that I started to take fighting seriously when I realised actually that I was actually quite good, and not only was I doing well, but I was enjoying it as well, and I could feel the benefits from it. Getting fitter, getting faster, getting stronger, you know, and I really was. But not only that, I was facing my fears as well, having that confidence to stand up to, you know, in my head, those bullies at school kind of thing. It was like, yeah, I can do this, you know. And I quit the day job about 4 years in because I ended up fighting people that were as more experienced than me. Do you know what I mean? They were better than me. They were more experienced, been doing it longer, trained better. So it was like something had to give. I was at a glass ceiling, working full time, studying this, that, and the other. So yeah, I knocked it on the head, and I really haven't looked back since. You know, so you know, fighting's is a way of life. It's a lifestyle for me. I teach it, I coach it, and yeah, I go in the cage and I do it. You know,
So working full time to going into martial arts full time, how were you able to afford it? Or so did you already have a plan, and did you have savings? Because I'm assuming that starting from scratch, you know, there's not much money that's in the sport.
And there isn't much money, and that's the other side, the flip side to the story. You know, all these fighters, the sacrifices they put through, and that's something that I had to consider. I had a career job as a family support worker. You know, literally, I just finished. I just graduated from my masters. I got a masters in youth work, career, community development, and basically, literally, I kid you not, like 3 months after I graduated, I packed it in. You know, I took redundancy from my job. A mixture of economic climate and a mixture of me wanting to pursue my dreams. You know, so I had a bit of redundancy money where I couldn't work for the month, and then bits and pieces dragged through, pulled through, and then I had a fight, and then you know what I mean, and I kind of picked my way through. But what allowed me to make the change is that's when I really started coaching and taking coaching seriously. You know, using my skills with my hobbies and my interests. You know, putting them together. And, you know, making a living out of it at the same time. So I've been fortunate, you know, to be able to pursue my dreams and to see how far I could get, you know, and yeah, it's been eventful.
Well, I mean, I looked at one of your fights, and looking at it, I could say you definitely made the right decision in switching over. The fight I'm speaking about is that first round submission at the Cage Warrior 102. We're going to show this clip. Let's take a look at this clip for 1 second, and then I'm going to ask you some questions about that.
Getting a little bit tighter now. Switching to the omoplata. Haven't seen one of those in the Cage Warriors cage for a while. The arm lock is there as well. There he goes.
He got him.
Wonderful transition. Wonderful transition.
Okay, now for those of us like myself who's not familiar with martial arts, can you walk us through your victory here?
Yeah. So it's the submission. I eventually caught him with an armbar, which is a hyperflexation on the elbow joint, and this grappling style is Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you know. So it's very, very applicable in a self-defense situation. It's very practical martial art as well as a sport. As you're seeing, you know. So it started off with me doing a triangle move, which is on his neck, switching it to an omoplata, which is on his shoulder, eventually getting it into an armbar on the elbow. So if you don't know what you're looking at, it's like, what are they doing? These guys cuddling. But when I break it down to you, and I can tell you this is that and that and that, we're talking about little fine line margins that I'm trying to do. And it doesn't flow as fluid because my guy is stopping me from doing it. Do you know what I mean? And he's trying to do something else, you know. But no, that's jiu-jitsu, and it's a very good way for somebody smaller or weaker to be able to overcome somebody bigger and stronger using the technique. So it's very practical. And when my daughter grows up, best believe she'll be doing jiu-jitsu as well, you know.
Oh boy, you sound like my husband. I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm like, no, the injuries, I cringe when I see. I'm like, oh. But I know there are other facets to it, discipline, and there are other good things to jiu-jitsu, aside from what I'm seeing. And I'm just seeing injuries.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I mean, the risks are real, and they are occupational hazards. So there's no getting around it, but touch wood, I've been I've come out healthy. Skill is to make that look easy. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not easy, especially when somebody's trained specifically to take you out. Do you know what I mean? To get them quick or to get them at all, shall I say, because it's not an easy thing to do. That's the skill level.
Yeah, now being a coach and being a professional fighter, they're two different skill sets. How do you balance Nathan the fighter and Nathan the coach?
I balance it quite well because when it's my time, me time, when I'm training, that's Mr. Bag and Tag. Mr. Bag and Tag, you get me? Mr. Bag and Tag, bags and tags. So nothing really gets in his way of his training, you know. So I seek to get the best training I can. I dedicate my time to being on the mat. So when I bow, go on the mat, that's my time. And you know what I mean? And I'll do my thing and put the wheels in motion. And then I finish, I bow out, and I'm back. And then I can help people or whatever. Or go about the rest of my day, stress, do this, do that, X, Y, and Z, you know. But I really find my solace within my training. And I think that's one of the things that's kept me on my martial arts path. Because if I look back to when I was growing up, doing activities after school, this and that, I quit everything that I started. You know, for example, doing swimming, going to clubs, I went to gymnastics, I went to football, I played the violin. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Did all these little different activities, you know. I even did taekwondo when I was a pup for about 3 months, and I quit that as well. But like I said, martial arts has found me and it's brought me back in. And martial arts has given me so much for my life that I really see it as a gift and a tool. So I try to pass that on wherever I can. And it's not a long thing for me to do that because I still remember my very first day stepping in on that mat. Do you know what I mean? And how scared I was, how intimidated I was, not knowing this, not knowing that, finding it really difficult. So therefore, it's not a problem for me to to see what somebody's going through, or to be able to relate to what they may be thinking or whatever. So just give them that extra hand, and it goes a long way, because I felt it myself. A little knowledge bomb or a little bit of kindness can manifest into somebody pursuing it as their career. You know what I mean? So if I can do that again, then put that back into the cycle. It's not a bad thing.
Now, how do you prepare for an MMA fight?
Yeah, quite intensively, to be fair. All right, so let's take a typical fight camp. I've got a really big fight coming up, so 8 weeks out, I'll plan. So from once I sign the contract, it should be typically 8 weeks. Then I give myself, my time. Or say it's 10 weeks out, I'll give 2 weeks or whatever, train, but nothing intense. But 8 weeks, then it's go time. So I'll be training twice a day, 3 times a day if I can, and that'll be 3-4 times a week. And then the other days in the week will be one session, but more intense, like a power session or a sparring session. So basically 6 times a week I'll be training, up to 8 weeks out from the fight. The last 2 weeks I'll taper down, go towards more my performance. Don't forget, I'm also dieting as well. I have to diet. Between my walking weight and my fight weight is 10 kilos, which is not actually that much compared to other people in my weight class. But for the average person who would go on a diet, say, 10 kilos is quite a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Especially when we're talking about the time that I do it, So over 8 weeks, but it's not really that, because the diet doesn't kick in until the last month, last 3 weeks, and it gets quite intense, but that's fine, because the way I see it, as a professional fighter, I fight for free, because I was fighting for free getting into the sport, even working my way up into the sport, I fight for free, but I get paid to make weight. That's the uncomfortable part. That's the part that is required. You don't have to actually be a good fighter to get in the cage, but you have to make the weight to get in the cage. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's how I feel.
You lose, I'm still on that other part where you lose 10 kilos. That's about 24 pounds or something in 3 weeks. God, I wish I knew that diet before my wedding.
It's not sustainable. It's not that I would lose that weight and then I'll carry on my life.
No, just that one day.
And then it reinflates just like a balloon, It's not the most healthiest, but I can give you 101 other ways that are more unhealthy than cutting weight. And I can give you 101 other injuries that have happened outside of MMA, specifically in non-contact sports. So sports where you have no contact, let's say, for example, football, you're still getting people breaking their legs, you're still getting people fracturing this, tearing that, and then here I am doing a contact sport where the sole purpose or the main objective is to inflict as much damage as possible. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not getting injured. So that's testament to the conditioning, testament to my luck, and to the skill as well, But, it's not as doomy and gloomy as people may make it out to be. It's a very professional sport in that sense, one that's grown in popularity as the years go on.
Okay. And what advice would you give to someone that's looking to become a professional fighter?
Okay, so my advice would be take your time. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Yeah, don't rush to fight the best on the biggest stages right there and then. All in due course, because, like I was saying, the risks are real. You don't want to get in a mismatch and get it out your depth. You want to build yourself up properly. But at the same time, you need to be honest with that. Don't cut corners. Don't cut corners in the sense of picking easy fights. So you need your tests, but it needs to be at the right time. So my advice would be to listen to your coach and to take it from there. And my advice to anybody that's young hasn't quite finished school or got their qualifications, my advice to you would be to get those qualifications, because it is a shelf life sport. And for example, if I am injured, if I, heaven forbid, break my leg or fracture my rib or whatever, I can't work, I can't fight. Do you know what I mean? So having qualifications to back you up in the trade, that is, the very good backup plan, and being a shelf life sport, when you get old, you got something to fall back on. So that'll be my advice to you guys.
All right. And what's next for Mr. Bag and Tag?
The next thing for Mr. Bag and Tag, well, once we get out of isolation, I'm going to get to the gym and I'm going to lose another 10 kilos. Just, you know what I mean? Because I've put on about 10 kilos. I'm rocking this isolation beard, everything. So I'm going to get back to the gym, get back to training, book something as quick as I can, whether it's on the mat, in the ring, or in the cage, get out competing, still, teach my clients, teach my students. Do you know what I mean? Because I love coaching. So just carry it on and, keep going the way I'm going.
Okay. And my last question for you, I always like to end the show with this. In 15 seconds or less, tell me what my biggest takeaway from our conversation should be.
Ooh, okay. So in 15 seconds or less, all right, I'm going to speak. No, I can't do it, so I'll speak really fast. But what I would say is MMA is a sport. It's a really good sport. It's got lots of attributes in, and it's benefited me a lot, and I like to pass it on. And you can get involved in it in whatever capacity you want, whether you want to train or compete. Have fun whilst doing it, and get it in the bag.
Great. And well, thank you so much again, Nathan, for sitting here with me, and best of luck with your newborn baby. I do hope you get some sleep. And thanks to everyone for continuing to tune in. If you love what you hear, continue to like and subscribe if you haven't done so. If you have a question, feel free to leave it in the comment box below. And please tune in next week, Thursday, when we will have another great episode with Miss Georgia Forbes, a woman that climbed the corporate ladder of success all the way to becoming the executive director of Goldman Sachs. At the height of her career, she decided to walk away from it all and build her own brand. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Nathan, for being a part of the Inside Job. And everyone stay safe and God bless.